Sarah. So we're back again to tell you guys all the cool stuff that's going on around Easter time.
Yeah, because that's coming up quick.
It's coming up really, really fast. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening in the next week.
It's going to be really busy.
The next week, make sure, and also at the end of the month, there's all sorts of stuff happening in April. So keep your ears open. We're going to try to bring you all of it, but if we miss something, make sure you let us know, and then we can bring it up in next week's show.
For sure.
Yeah, so we are still in Trickster Month.
Woohoo!
So this is actually, this story I brought today, it's political, because we are going into elections coming up. And it's a funny little historical story.
It's always a good thing, funny and political.
Funny and political, yes. I mean, they say that if you like sausage and you like politics, you don't want to see how either is made. And that is the truth.
That's pretty good.
So our trickster story today is kind of, it's a political intrigue story.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yes, from actually before the time California was a state and about the time California became a state. So
okay, so right in the middle of transition.
Right in the middle of the transition, exactly. And a lot of people may know this story, but it always amazes me that this happened. So there were only 27 counties in the first state of California. And
I did not know that.
So I'm going to try and get the dates right. So in 1850, California actually became the 31st state in the Union. And Calaveras County was one of the original 27 counties, but it was a huge county. So it actually encompassed what would become Amador County, Fresno, along the along Alpine County, and Mono County to the east.
Oh my goodness, that's
so it was
huge.
Huge, right? So Mariposa, I mean, it encompassed all those counties. So it was really, really big.
Man.
But Calaveras County, nowadays, it's a little more amiable than it used to be, right? Until relatively recently. So I always say there's fiefdoms in Calaveras County. So that started out very early. So even before the state was entered into the Union, what ended up happening was all these places were being considered as the county seat for Calaveras County.
Oh, yeah.
And the California legislature was already voting on things before they were admitted into the state. So they decided, always forward-thinking California. Yeah. But what they decided to do was name Pleasant Valley as the Calaveras County seat. Now, I will honestly say, I am not quite sure where that is. I'm assuming it's western Amador-ish around there. I'm thinking Amador Lake is. I don't know why.
Okay.
But
I would have to double check that because I'm not sure either.
Yeah. It may be just a little place, a little piece of ground now. But anyway, Pleasant Valley was what was appointed as the Calaveras County seat.
Okay.
Of course, the people in Calaveras County didn't like that at all.
Which I don't blame them.
So I don't know if anybody talked to them or what happened. So anyway, what happened is they decided that they wanted the county courthouse and the records to be in the community of Double Springs, which is out there in the kind of the Valley Springs area now. And you have to remember, back in this time, it was whoever held the county documents which were in a chest. That was where the county seat was.
Which would make sense because if you had to get them, you couldn't be traveling long distances because that would take up valuable time.
Yeah. So the county seat was held under an oak tree, so the story goes, and the courthouse in Double Springs for 14 months. So at this time, right, there was a lot of fluidity amongst the mining camps. Some were getting bigger, some were getting smaller, and some people were not happy after about a year, a little bit more, 14 months, that the county seat was in Double Springs. They wanted it in Jackson.
Okay.
So Jackson got involved, and then McCollum Hill. Those people decided they wanted the county seat.
Oh, no.
So it became this huge, big thing. So it was, the reason why Double Springs was actually chosen initially is it was very accessible from the 5 main roads into the area. So it was easy to get to.
Which makes sense.
Which, yeah, it made sense. Mm-hmm. But apparently the county judge, who was William Fole Smith, and the county clerk, Lewis A. Collier, were on opposite sides of where the actual county seat should move to.
Oh, no.
So Smith wanted it up, I think he wanted it in Jackson.
Okay.
And then Collier wanted it in McCollum Hill. So they actually put it to the vote.
Okay.
And it turned out that when Collier tallied the votes, McCollum Hill was actually the winner.
Okay.
Okay, so you would
McCollum Hills should have had it.
Yes, they should have had it. So that you would think that's pretty cut and dried. Mm-hmm. But it didn't really
work out
well.
that way?
Yeah, and in Calaveras County, nothing is ever cut and dried. So what ended up happening was there were advocates for the move to Jackson, and they came down to Double Springs. Mm-hmm. They sat down with Collier and his buddies, and they started drinking.
Oh, no. That's never a good idea.
Mixed politics and drinking. So drinking, and they waited until Collier and his cohorts were good and soused, and they stole the county records and took them to Jackson. So then
they had no choice.
Jackson became the county seat. And then, so then, that was sort of the wild story. Mm-hmm. A little more tame story talks about McCollum Hill residents taking the county records, actually, and taking it back to their town, but not getting anybody drunk. So
they just took it.
They claimed
both what
ways.
Was theirs.
Yeah. So stories abound. But then what happened is another election was called, right? Because then people were like, is it McCollum Hill? Is it Jackson? What is it? Mm-hmm. And so what ended up happening is that Judge Smith said that Jackson was the winner. Okay.
So and the other guy was the guy that said that at McCollum
here.
So it's
getting a little confusing. So then what happened is the county clerk, who has to actually ratify the votes, which still happens today. This is how it happens today. He thought there was voter fraud.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah. So he refused to ratify the election, and he locked the votes or the tallies up in his desk drawer.
Okay.
And he wouldn't let anybody
get them. All right.
So what happened was Judge Smith broke into Collier's office.
Of course he did.
Of course, exactly.
Now the question is, was there drinking involved?
I don't know. It doesn't tell us. Could have been though. Could have been. There's a lot of drinking going on back then.
That's always the worst thing. I have a good idea after 3 drinks.
Exactly.
You probably shouldn't do it.
Not a good idea. Not a good idea. And then so he certified the ballots in favor of Jackson.
Okay.
And then offended, right, Collier in the process.
Oh yeah, he broke into his dad.
And then Collier said, I'm going to shoot that judge whenever I see him.
Okay, and that back then that was normal.
That was
kind of
how it was.
You got offended.
Yeah.
You had a gun.
Exactly. So Judge Smith heard about the threat. Mm-hmm. He armed himself. And then on September 14th of 1851, they saw each other in the street, and the judge shot first and killed Collier, who was unarmed. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Total plot twist, right?
Well,
so, yeah.
Words can hurt you.
Words can sometimes kill you.
Yeah, especially back then.
You say, exactly. Don't say you're carrying a gun if you're not carrying a gun.
Oh, man.
Isn't that crazy? So what ended up happening, and charges were never brought against the judge, but he did fall out of favor with the community.
Well, yeah.
And then it's this county seat stayed in Jackson for less than a year and ended up in McCollum Hill in 1852.
Anyway, so so it just went right on back to McCollum.
Yeah. And 2 years later, Amador became a county, and Jackson became its county seat. So, but it just shows you how wild it was back then.
Well, I couldn't imagine. I mean,
Yeah.
the space was so large, and
Yeah.
then you have so many people who want to be in control. Mm-hmm. But the space, like, it's not like nowadays where you can just drive an hour or 15 minutes.
No, I
and
mean,
then
it's
30
long distances.
Yeah,
It
that would
took
have been
them a while.
all day. So I don't blame them being like, no. Let's
do
this
here
and then do that. But
yeah. And then
goodness grace.
and the state says it should be in Double Springs, and then the local people are going, "Don't you tell us what to do, state? Not a state yet, but almost a state." Yeah.
Oh
so
my goodness, I couldn't imagine, especially the people that just got together and they're like, I mean, just to sitting there and because that took days of them
for
talking about it
thinking
and arguing
working it out and
and
figuring it out.
And I imagine it didn't go away quick like that. Just that anger
Yeah.
probably settled until late night.
A long. I imagine the reason why Amador became a county
Was 'cause
is
they were like-
residual.
Yeah, they're like, no.
Residual issues.
Just a little bit.
Just slightly. So that's
Oh my
our
goodness.
tricksterish story of today.
Oh my goodness.
And there were things that stuff like that happened all
They did.
all the time during
Yep.
that period. It was literally the wild, wild west out
It
there.
really was, and that's how they survived.
It
Because if you
is.
think about the judge, he could have not shot first, and the guy had a gun, and he would have died.
Exactly. So you don't
So
know.
it was one of those things, like either you kept your mouth shut and
And
you
you-
let things go, or you say something and you're always armed.
Yeah, exactly.
And so,
One or the other.
unfortunately, I know, it's way different than what it is nowadays.
Yeah, totally different. Totally different.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I
so.
can, that poor man. But again,
Yeah. So on to what is happening in the Mother Lode.
and we have a lot coming up. So this weekend we have some things, but it seems like it's just going to get busier and busier as the month progresses, especially with the holiday of Easter coming up.
Yeah.
And that is not this weekend, but the next weekend is Easter on the 17th,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me that we are almost to the middle of April. Which
I
is,
can't believe how fast this year is
it
going.
just mind boggles me.
Yeah, yeah.
And it seems like summer's just getting closer and closer.
closer,
And that
yeah.
means kids are out of school.
Yes.
And that means
absolutely.
even more events.
And more events, more things to do.
So
Figuring things out.
exactly. So we have a lot coming up.
Cover, for sure.
It's gonna be a lot.
So we're
of
gonna, we've decided we're going to, I have to listen to my mother, elocution, going to. What we're going to do is cover all 3 counties.
Yes.
Because we're finding that we're getting viewership from actually all 3 counties. So
Which works because, I mean, like the other county, we're all kind of
we're all
sister
sort of
counties.
mushed in together now. Yeah. So it may, back then it was all about let's divide and be our own counties, but now all of
only a
us
hop,
have to
skip,
work
jump away.
together, and that actually is best for all of us if we do. So.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of events everywhere.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it seems like
for
they're
sure.
so nice and you can just bounce around. It's really, I don't know.
And it
It's
doesn't
all
take you that
perfect.
long
Not at
to
all.
get anymore.
Yeah, it's not going to take you a day.
Exactly. You don't have to stay overnight anymore.
No.
At a boarding house.
Oh, geez, and then carriage
Yeah.
on back.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
Oh, my goodness.
So what do you have for this weekend?
I have quite a bit.
Okay.
So this weekend, April 8th, there is the Mother Lode Art Association. It's a 67th annual fine art show and exhibit at the Sonora Opera House located in Sonora.
Okay.
And it is from 5 to 6 on the 8th, and it goes until the 10th of April, which is 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There's raffles and silent auctions, and it takes place during the show, and it closes at 2 p.m. on April 10th. So it's really just for this weekend.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really cool art show. So, yeah. And again, we talked about our
Awesome.
amazing local artists out here that
Yeah,
it's just mind-boggling
Yeah, the
how
talent
talented.
is amazing. It really is. In all different forms of art too.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, go ahead and get out there. If you want more information on them, you can go to the Mother Lode, motherlodeartassociation.org, and you can find more information up. So yeah.
And one of the more anticipated actually days is coming up this weekend. Actually, April 9th is Gold Rush Days at Columbia State Historic Park. Park, which
That is
always
literally
awesome.
stepping back in time.
Yes, it is.
Which
Actually,
is
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, so they do special exhibits, they do just all sorts of things that you literally step back in time, you know, and if they have the
so
bowling
cool.
alley open, you can see how they used to bowl during
I didn't know
the
that.
back in
I haven't seen that one yet. That is cool.
They aren't always open, that's the thing, but, and the museum is really cool there too, and they have a lot of the Miwok artifacts as well, and the story
And
of
they have
like
the carriage rides, if I remember
Yes, they
right.
do.
And that
They
was
do.
always so much fun. Especially
Yeah.
my kids get a kick out of that one.
Yeah,
Especially, it's
especially
really
if they get
fun.
held up.
Yes, exactly.
For sure.
And then you can always get it. We kind of made a family tradition of getting our old-timey photo done.
Oh,
Which is
that's
always
a great
fun.
idea.
Yeah, it kind of becomes just a family tradition, which is really neat to see. It's kind of, I don't know, feels a little dated and
Yeah, it's
timey,
kind of fun,
and then
though.
you get to see your kids grow. Yeah, it's neat.
That's really fun. So, and then actually on the same day, from 2 to 5 in Sonora is the Blue Zones Project is presenting their first community discovery fair.
Oh,
and
cool.
The Blue Zones Project is actually in Tuolumne County right now.
Okay.
And I think it's in different counties across the U.S., mostly in California, I believe. But they're all about creating community spaces for people to get out and exercise
Nice.
and lead a healthy lifestyle. And they have a lot of resources for that as well. So they're going to have like really cool things like a family bike rodeo, a story area, gardening demonstrations, which we talked about before.
Yeah, gardening is
like
right now.
So, and healthy food sampling from
That is
places like
really
Seven
neat.
Sisters. So, yeah, it's going to be very cool.
And I also see that they have a giveaway for a $250 gift card.
Ooh, that's
So
even better.
that's even better. And it's a free event, right? For all
Yeah,
ages?
it is free.
That
Yeah,
is
for sure.
really cool. So, I don't know. It's kind of nice to kind of get refreshed on all that stuff.
Yeah.
Health and awareness and exercising and
Yeah, and everything
what
that's
is
going
out there.
on.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. And then, obviously, in Calaveras County, we still have all the plays.
We do. We have still have all of those plays going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is, I mean, it's that entertainment. It's kind of, it gets you away from the TV. It's stories. I mean, I can't imagine not having stories around.
No.
We do still have the Sachamu at the Waldorf in Murphy's. That's still happening. And it looks like it will be going until... I don't know when it's going until, but I do know it's going this weekend.
Yeah.
So the general admission is about $32. Student admission is $26. Seniors is $26, and a child is $20. And you can find out more information at the Murphy's creektheater.org. So I guess we could have looked that up and found out. But yes, but you can too. So you can find
And you
out.
can buy
more
your
of the times.
tickets at the same time.
Well, very nice.
And I've heard a lot of really good things about this show from people who
Have
have
you?
seen it. Yeah, and it's like I think it's a one-person show.
And I think it has to do with jazz, right?
Yes.
So it's
yeah.
Yeah, because it's a one man, 3 character
He plays
play,
Louis Armstrong. Yeah.
which is and it's based in 1971. So that would be really cool
Yeah,
to hear or
so
see.
he plays Louis. This one actor plays Louis Armstrong, Joe Glazer, his white manager, and Miles Davis. So he
Wow,
plays
so it
3
must be-
different- Yeah.
It must be him having semi-monologues because he can't be in two. I would love to see how they pull that together.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to go see it.
I think we will.
But I've heard great things about it.
That sounds
Really
amazing.
have. And then, of course, Baskerville, Sherlock Holmes Mystery at the Baker Street Players.
Which is the Heine Company, above the Heine Company
yeah.
in Jackson, so the bookstore.
Exactly. So,
And that place, again, is just like stepping back into
Oh,
Old
it's
English
awesome.
Street. And they go until May 14th.
yes.
So they will be having that production on for a while.
A little, yeah. So they
but-
have a little time.
And that's about $28 for general admission. Seniors is $24, and students are $20. And you can find out more information about that at the bakerstreetwest.com, which will be, I don't know. I love those little, and it's such a cool setup because they have the chairs and then they almost perform around you.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
okay.
it's really interactive, and people are coming in and out of their buildings. It's just really
cool.
fascinating
Wow.
how they do it.
Wow.
And it's different than an original play, just with the stage right in front
Yeah,
of you.
so it's more, it sounds more interactive.
It's more, it's not a mystery dinner, but it's theater and dinner. Which
Okay.
is kind of like tea.
yeah,
like
that's
tea,
kinda cool.
biscuits, and
Yeah.
fun stuff like that. So it's really, really cool setup.
Yeah, and obviously Sherlock Holmes stories are timeless.
Well, they are super timeless. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. And then over at the East Sonora Theater Sierra Rep, they are actually having a tribute to female icons of country music.
How cool
called
is that?
Ramblin' Rose. So this is actually the last weekend you can see it. Saturday.
I think it started just this weekend,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No, or no, it started a while
No,
ago.
it started a while ago, but it's saying here they only have seats on Saturday, April 9th.
Oh, they've already sold out
They've
on
sold
the
out
9th and
on
the
the
10th,
10th.
the matinee for 9. So they only have Friday at 7 p.m. and Saturday at 7 p.m. allowed.
Exactly. So
Wow.
yeah, and Sierra Rep always does an awesome job. So make sure if you want to go see it, go and get your tickets right now.
Yes.
Pause
Yeah,
us,
don't wait.
and go to sierrarep.org.
Which would make, because they only have those 2 spots left. That's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
So if you are an artist or not an artist, they do have the Sip and Paint at Calaveras Pine Bar with Kate Paint on Saturday, April 10th, or April 9th.
April 9th, yeah.
And that's $25 per seat, and it starts at 2 p.m. And that's in Row Flat. And you can find more information at... Well, you can contact Kate directly at 209-923-3167.
And those are always a lot of fun,
They are
too.
really fun. They stopped them with COVID, and then now they're kind
They're
of
starting
coming
to come
back.
back a little bit.
And
yeah.
it's really fun to be involved with that because you have the instruction or the instructor teaching you how to do something,
Yeah.
especially if you're new to art. And they walk you through it, and it's always, and you go with friends
Yeah.
or by yourself if you want to go by yourself. But it's always just a really neat group.
Yes, it is. And the people there, even if you go by yourself,
Yeah,
the
you
people
really
there are
walk
so
away with
friendly.
friends.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
It's just,
Absolutely.
I love those little, and then you go away with something you created.
Yeah.
Which is not something you do usually.
All the time.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. There's a few places around, and as we get more into summer, we'll talk about that, where you can go and you can make sort of number plates for your house and, those types of items that are just a lot of fun to go and do.
Which is, it's always cool, especially if it's something you can pass on later.
Exactly.
When you're, I mean, it's always neat to have something from your grandparents, so
Yeah.
planning ahead.
Way ahead.
Way ahead.
Way ahead. So in Amador, I mean, we talk about the Amador Flower Farm, I think almost
We do every time, but now we have events.
Now we actually have an event. It's the Spring Fling. Yeah. Whoop, whoop. On April 9th, Saturday, April 9th, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And they're basically celebrating the beginning of spring.
Which is, I still can't believe it's
the
here.
day
We
that
are in
the
spring.
lilies are out. They're going to have free tram rides and seminars, demonstrations, and and just walking through the gardens there, which is what we said before, is just
to get there and
wonderful.
go. And it's free. It's free
All
parking
free.
and all free. They do not allow pets, so
Yeah.
don't bring your doggies.
Exactly. So
And that's a completely fun
it
family
is.
event.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
I always love to go there. And then actually Night Foundry is opening up again in Sutter Creek, and they are a historic foundry that was open during the gold rush times, and now it's like an antique blacksmithing forge, and they show you how to pour, and they
is
craft
so cool.
different forge items, I guess you would call them, but they are very educational as well. So
which
they
is
don't
an art that
asking
is
questions.
kind of lost
Yeah,
unless you're
yeah.
raised in it and you
Yes.
have a family member who does it. It's not something that you would be like, okay, you know what, I want to go metalwork or forge.
Exactly. Exactly.
And talk about a chance. A
Yeah,
chance
it's
to do
an
something
opportunity.
super, super unique.
And so tickets are sold at the door. You can't buy them beforehand. And it's $15 for adults 18 and older, $5 for students age 5 through 17, and free for children under 5. And it's free for a night. I just whooshed my little, my mouse went crazy. Night Foundry Alliance members. And you can become a Night Foundry Alliance member, and it actually supports the Night Foundry.
That
and
is
all their
really neat.
educational opportunities and keeping
That
the
is
Foundry
so
open.
cool.
Yeah, it's like art. It's like history and art in action over there. It
And
really
it is because,
wonderful.
to tell you the truth, like some of that stuff lasts forever, especially
Yes,
that is.
it does.
And just to be able to do that, because I mean, we watched this show. My husband's really into metalworking.
Yeah.
And he watches a whole bunch of YouTube videos, and then he also watches. It's like Forged by Fire. Have you seen that show?
I've seen the commercials.
And
for
so
that.
it's a reality show, and they forge like a knife. It's
Yeah.
like that. So to have this in town is
It's cool.
really, really neat.
It's very cool.
And it looks like there's no reservations needed, so you can just kind of
you
pop
just
in and
kinda
go.
Show up, exactly.
Then we have the Wildflower Train Ride is coming, and it's
Okay.
at Railroad Town Historical
Up in
Park.
Tuolumne?
Yep, up in Tuolumne or
Awesome.
Jamestown.
Jamestown, sorry.
And
Yeah.
it's an experience. So you get to drive around and see all the wildflowers, and
Yeah, which is it's a cool.
I have not.
If you've
done
never
this.
been there, you've never been there.
I have never. I've been there. I've been to
very
Jamestown, but I've
cool.
never done the train ride.
Yeah,
And-
it's it's funny because in our sped up world, when you get on, it's a little slow.
Oh, I bet.
It's
Slow.
like, where's the wildflowers? And then you you go around a curve, and then depending on the time of year, like springtime,
Yeah,
it's just blankets of poppies, and it just is a beautiful.
You know, since we started this show, my schedule has like completely changed because now I'm like every
wanna
weekend
get
I'm
to
like,
this.
okay, there is so much to do around here
Yeah,
that it's
for
just
sure.
mind-boggling. There's just not enough time.
No, there's not. There's not.
So the train promptly leaves at 3:30 each day, and it goes from this Saturday, and then the 10th, the 16th, and the 17th. So in the next 2 weekends, they have it going on for the wildflowers.
Yeah.
And the cost is about $20 for adults, 15 for youth, which is between 6 to 17 years old, and children 5 years and younger ride free. And you can go on and get your ticket at etic.com/ticket/E/1017, or you can just look this up online.
Yeah, it's a state historic park, which is why their URL is like
Really
way
wrong.
wrong.
But I did find another website you can go to that's a little bit easier. You could go
Yeah.
to railtown1897.org and get more information.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that'll
you
be a
can
little
just-
bit easier.
a little easier.
a little easier than
Then this
There's tickets, yeah.
So, and then on April 10th, there's Wildflowers and Wine in Sutter Creek, which showcases the wine of Amador County, which
I
is
love it.
really cool.
and wildflowers.
And wildflowers.
So you get
exactly.
beauty and taste.
Exactly. So it's another one of those, there's vendors, there's artisan offerings, there's really good food, locally prepared by locally chefs, local wine. It just really is a beautiful event.
And it's nice because I imagine it's an adult event.
Yes.
And so you kind of have a little bit of mixture of like, okay, you can do this with your kids and then get a babysitter and go have a nice adult conversation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, for sure.
which is always a nice thing if you have young kids. Mm-hmm. Kind
It
of getting
is,
a break
just
and
kinda get a
being
break
around.
and, yeah, just kind of.
And even if you don't have kids, it's a nice break.
So to find out more about that, you go to wineon49.com, and the tickets are $80. But it looks like it's absolutely worth it.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And especially for a night out, and to tell you the truth, I mean, I was telling my kid this the other day. I'm like, $100 nowadays is like $10 back when I was
in the
little.
day, yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
it is completely changed. So you sewers out there, American Sewing Guild is having an event. So the Gold County chapter of the American Sewing Guild is happening this Friday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you want to join and be part of it, it's a group of volunteers, and they've been sewing for forever is what it says. And they just get together and have fun and create things, which is really fun. And it takes place in Jackson from 9 to 2. And all the materials and supplies are provided. All you have to do is just join them. And it is at the Gold House in Rolling Hills Estates Mobile Home Park. And if you want to get in contact with them, you can call Jan Hopper at 530-497-5500. Or Grace, and you can contact her at Grace Nolan at Comcast.net. So, yeah.
Wow.
And it looks like they will be going all the way up until October. It looks like it's a once-a-month event.
Okay. That's
every
cool.
Friday.
So if you miss this one, you can always maybe find out about the next one.
Yep, and it goes all year round because I just hit the tab, and it's
and
a
it
yearly
just goes.
thing.
Oh,
So
cool.
once a month on Fridays for
There you go.
forever, I
Wow.
guess.
Wow.
So you sewers out there, that seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then also this weekend, there's a lot going on
There's
this
a
weekend.
lot.
We were like, oh, there's not a huge amount. We'll
It's
talk
coming
about
up with more
Easter.
like
But it's
Easter,
like,
and,
yeah.
and then you start reading, like I
Then
said, you start looking into it, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, there is
We
just
look through
literally,
it all,
they're not
but
about done.
it just doesn't compute sometimes. So, but Crafty Chicks. So if you are in Calaveras County, you know that the Crafty Chicks events are absolutely amazing, and they actually have a storefront in Angels Camp in Old Town Angels. And they have events out at the fairgrounds different times of the year. And this is their spring event. And they only have handmade, vintage, upcycled, or repurposed items.
I love that so much because, again, like we talked about before, this is something you can't just get on Amazon and be like, I'm going to buy this. It's one of a kind.
Yeah.
And it's...
Yeah.
And you find stuff that you keep for the rest of your lives, is what I
Yes.
found out.
Yeah,
Especially when you
absolutely.
find something that's unique like that, you
Yeah.
don't want to let it go.
No.
Versus if you buy something on Amazon or get it at Walmart, it's so easy just to be like,
just,
all right, this is kind of
mass
moved out of my life,
produced,
and it's time to give that to someone else. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's,
so-
those craft things are just amazing.
They are. So, and there's 80 plus vendors.
So big choices.
A lot of choices. So that's Saturday, April 9th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Calaveras County Frogtown Fairgrounds, otherwise known as Frogtown. And only $2 to get in.
What you can't beat. Talking about, that is a good price.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then we also have Bingo is coming back.
Oh, bingo.
Bingo is coming back. So it is at, they have multiple bingos, but the one I did find is Amador Senior Center is opening their doors for bingo
Oh,
on
cool.
April 9th. And it opens at 11 a.m. The early game starts at 12:45. It's at the Senior Center in Jackson, which is on New York Ranch Road. And yeah, it's one of those things where you can just kind of get together.
And it's fun.
It's so much fun. I haven't played
They
bingo
take
in
it-
forever, but it's
take
so
it
much
seriously.
fun.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, and I
yeah.
don't blame them.
Yeah,
And it goes on the second Saturday of every month. And so yeah, you can just kind of make this a
annual or monthly event.
yes, a month.
Second-
Well, every
second Saturday.
2 times a month. There we go.
Yeah, double,
It took me a minute. I'm like,
double
what?
trouble. Yeah.
If you have any questions, you could call them at 209-223-0442. And yeah, so super excited, and they'll have that going through, it looks like, until a while. So it's just
Wow.
opening back up this month.
Wow. So actually, I am looking at if I can find it, the fly fishing class.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
And that, again, like we talked about this last week, it's one of those things where it's not just sitting down,
No.
throwing your pole in and waiting for the fish coming.
It's-
It is an
There's a
active
whole art to it.
dance to it. Like it's literally like you're sitting there trying to pretend to be a bug.
Yeah. Very
there
well
is an
put.
art
Yes,
to
that's
this.
exactly. And depending on the bug you're trying to be, there's a totally different dance
Yes.
you're doing with your line. So that is actually going to be on April 9th and 10th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And let me see where I can find out where it is.
I think it's at the Elks Lodge. Oh no, American Legion Center.
Yeah, at the American Legion Center in Jackson.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and that one's interesting because that one's really, like, that's a really good gift. Like, I don't fish. I've never been one that can just sit and wait, and I always feel bad for the fish.
Yeah.
I like to eat fish, but I feel bad. And it's just one of those things that just never really stuck with me. But I do know, like, it would be a great gift to get someone who is outdoorsy and who likes to fish.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you can learn it. And I imagine it's not something you're going to take on that weekend. You'd have to have a lot of practice.
You have to have a lot of practice, especially fly fishing, for sure.
And so it's like kind of like the 101 on fly fishing. And it's one of those opportunities of being around people who've done it for years, ask the questions you need, and go out there and do it again. And I imagine they'll do it next year. So if you need to do it again, you kind of just do it every year until you become a master yourself. And then you train people.
Exactly.
This Friday, we have the family karaoke at Gold Dust Pizza in Calaveras.
Oh, cool.
Which is always fun. Karaoke's a lot of fun. They have pizza, and there's no cover. All ages are welcome. And so you just, come sing your heart out and eat some pizza.
Yeah.
And it's at the...
And that's at the town square down there in Copper, which is always just beautiful to go down and
It really
just
is.
experience it.
It really is, and it's unique. Like, it seems like every town in the Mother Lode has its own personality.
Yep, absolutely.
And it is really neat to kind of go, even though, I mean, pizza, it's always, I don't know, pizza's one of those ones where you know exactly what you're getting.
Yep.
And it's not, like, there's different pizza parlors where you kind of get different taste, and they're, but you always know what it is. But when you go and you find a place that's different than the other, like, other places. And Gold Dust Pizza, I believe, is also in Sutter Creek.
Okay.
And but it's even different than when you go to Copperopolis. It's one of those things where it seems like
just a little,
it's a town. The town vibe kind of adds to it.
The town adds to it. Yeah, the ambience of the town for sure.
And so that's on Friday at 6 p.m. And like I said, it is a family friendly event.
For sure. And then on April 10th, there is, April 9th, the Sean Karskadian Trio will be playing at the Sutter Creek Provisions from 7 to 9 p.m. It's $10 at the door, cash only. So we're, again, starting to get back into people are coming out and playing their music at local events and local establishments, and Sutter Creek is just beautiful. And then Sutter Creek Provisions is really cool.
I was going to say, it is really cool. It was
it's
recently
family-friendly as well. Yeah.
It was recently remodeled, and it's one of those buildings where they kind of like it divided up. So there's like a grocery kind of grocery store. Yeah. And then they have like the restaurant bar area. Yeah. And it is really unique. It's really, really unique.
Yeah.
So, and they always have great bands that come out.
They do.
And then with Easter coming up, they do have the Experience the Last Supper coming up at the Calvary Chapel in Valley Springs, which is kind of really neat if you do practice Easter.
Yes.
And you kind of want to see how the Last Supper went. So you get to experience that. And that is this Friday, April 8th at 6 p.m. Doors open at 5:45. And then they have dinner. Guests practice ancient table manners, dining on food like Jesus and his disciples may have eaten.
Oh, cool.
So it's a whole experience for leading up to Easter.
Wow.
And if it's a $5, it's free, but you could make a $5 donation if you would like to. And you can find them at ccvs.church/sign-up. Or you can just call Calvary Chapel in Valley Springs. I imagine they can just get you the information.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Which is always neat. And again, it's one of those things where you step back in time and you get this hands-on experience, which is neat.
Yeah. And then, I'm like clicking through.
Oh, you're good. I'm going to go to, because we bring this up every time.
Yeah, because this actually, I was trying to find it. She had it already.
So you have your dogs, you have your cats, and now you need vaccinated or microchip. It is this Saturday at 9 to 12. We've been bringing it up because it does get really, really filled up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's only for Calaveras residents. But it is great because you can come get your vaccine done and your microchipping done, and it's a free to everybody. And then they also have multiple throughout the year. So this isn't the only day. So if you can't make it this Saturday, but you are wanting to have it done, you can go. They'll have it, so April 9th, May 14th, June 11th, and April 8th is what they have planned so far. And this is over at the Mountain Ranch Road in San Andreas, which is the government center.
Yeah.
And it's just you pull up. So no one even has to get out of the car and do everything, and then you just drive away. So it's just a drive-through.
The dog's in one line, I guess, and the cat's in
Oh,
another
that's
line.
smart.
And then they have the vaccination people and the microchip in different lines, too.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah,
so easy peasy, lemon squeezy,
Yeah.
just pull you right on out.
Yep, for sure. And then coming up at the end of the month, there's going to be quite a few things coming up. One of them is the Ragin' Cajun Festival, put on by the Rotary, and that will be here in San Andreas. It's from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and it's a fundraiser for them.
Which is cool, and it's a $5 ticket, which is not bad.
Not bad.
Not at all. Yeah, I'm like, that's really good. And it has live music,
Yes.
which is a bonus.
Yeah. Main Street in Angels.
And then,
Or sorry, not Angels, San Andreas. I was thinking of the opening, which I'm just going to wing it here, the opening of the exhibit in Angels Camp on Saturday the 30th, opening up the frog exhibit there.
oh yeah,
Which is going to be
because
really cool.
frog jump is
yeah,
coming up
it's
in May.
soon. Yes, yeah.
Which is really interests me because you do have to plan ahead of that, especially if you're going to enter into any of the contests
Yeah.
or into.
If you want to enter like your jams or your homemade items
or your art,
they're accepting applications now, and actually the deadlines are coming up fast and furious right now.
Yes.
So
and it's that livestock, all of that. So I mean, if you're in 4-H, you should be. I mean, planning ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they also have. Yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of footage coming out on that.
Oh, yeah.
Prepping that.
Yeah,
so
for
if
sure.
you want to tune in and kind of get a little bit of a blast from the past, we'll be running
some of that
and
on
then
our Channel 7.
So which is always fun. It's really fun to see things, especially because we have so much archive about this event.
We do. We have a
that
lot.
It is really fascinating.
And we have the old Queen pageants. We have just old fair footage, which is just phenomenal, right?
Really
you look
cool.
at it, and some of it is from like 1962 and
I think we have like a 1942 one.
Or something, yeah.
And it's just mind-boggling that it's been around that long, and it's just gotten better and better each year. So I'm super excited to see how they pull it off
this year should be really good.
So with Easter coming up, we do have a little bit more with Easter Cookie Decoration Social, which is April 12th, which is a Tuesday, and it's at 1 p.m. And it's at the Amador Senior Center. It is $1 per pack of 2 times cookies. All ages are welcome. You get to decorate, have some fun. And so if you want to register, you can call 209-223-0442. So yeah, you can get your cookies ready for Easter.
Yeah, and there's also this Saturday, actually at 9 a.m. at Common Ground in Valley Springs, area, is the Easter pop-up by Harmony Joy and Cookies.
Ooh.
And she does custom cookies.
I am looking at these pictures, and they're not even worth eating. Like they should just be pieces of art you set somewhere and you don't touch.
Exactly. And you have to get there early because she sells out really fast.
Well, I can imagine.
Yeah.
This. It's amazing work. Amazing work. And she teaches you how to do this.
Not on this particular one, but she does have classes.
She does
have
really,
classes
really
as
cool.
well, which would be really fun to go to. So just keep that in mind if you're in that area on Saturday at 9. Usually she's sold out by 12, actually. So sometimes sooner.
So plan ahead.
Yeah,
plan ahead.
Absolutely.
So, and planning ahead, Easter is around the corner.
Yes,
and I know there is a lot of events coming up. And one of my all-time favorites is the Easter egg extravaganza in Sutter Creek. And that's on April 16th. So it is a week away. So not this Saturday, next Saturday. And it's from 11 to 2. And they do save the register so you can kind of avoid their getting in. But it is a free event. And they have Easter egg hunts. And it's at the Italian Picnic Ground in Jackson. And it's really cool how they set it up because they do an Easter egg hunt every 10 minutes. And so they group these kids into like these little groups, and then they sprinkle out new eggs, and then they run out and get them. And then they have a small spot for like little kids.
Oh.
So if you have like an infant, they have an infant zone, and then you have a like 3 to 5 year old zone. So every kid they all get an Easter egg. No one's left out.
Yeah.
And then they have bouncy houses and events and
cool.
hot dogs, and it's free for anybody to go to, which is a lot of
really
fun. We always go
nice.
to it every year. It's
good.
so much fun. And it is put on by the Nazarene Church in Sutter Creek.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun event, but they do plan ahead because it is always really full.
Crowded. Okay, so it gets crowded.
And I know they haven't done it I think they did it last year, which was you had to register. So because with COVID, they had to have protocol.
Yeah.
This year it's free game. So I would just be a little bit prepared.
Yes. And so Easter Bunny is coming to Ironstone Vineyards, obviously on the 17th as well, and they have a breakfast and Easter Bunny and egg hunt out on their grounds, which are always gorgeous. And then I believe there's just like brunches everywhere. Like there's Copper Valley down in Copperopolis is having a great Easter brunch, and then at Camps and Angels Camp, the Hotel Leger in McCullamy Hill. Who, by the way, are getting new owners. I don't know if they
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it just sold, which is very cool. Should be closing really quickly. So I'm very curious to see what the new owners do. That's a paranormal hotspot.
I know. I was gonna bring it up because I was like, I imagine everyone's kind of sick of me saying that, but I'm like,
yeah.
Because you were telling me that they used to give out boxes.
Paranormal kits for if you request them.
Do that.
And I think it was only at that time like a $5 fee for these paranormal kits.
Which is really cool.
Which is kind of cool if you want to find out. If
Well, yeah, you could go either really
way.
good. You could look really ridiculous,
or
you could find something. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
And maybe you don't want to find what you found. So,
Yeah, exactly.
We're
Who
just
knows?
like, woo. So I'm very curious as to see what the new owners do with that, because I've heard that they're very cool people, and they want to make it even more than what it is, and it's cool already. There's the downstairs wine area is just beautiful.
Which is really cool because when you walk in, it's built under the building, and it's encaved by just rock. And you walk in, and it's a cellar, and they do dinners and events down there, and it's next to the pool area, and most people don't know it's down there.
No, they don't.
And it is spooky and creepy and absolutely wonderful.
It is. It is one of the more unique places in the Mother Lode. Honestly, I mean, we think of like the Murphy's Hotel, which has a history, ghosty past, and I'm trying to think the Amador. The American Hotel, and then in Tuolumne, obviously, there's the Groveland Hotel.
And then the National.
And the National as well. But this one, its construction is totally different.
It's way different, and it's set in McCullamy Hill, which out of all of the counties seems
Little
the
towns,
most untouched.
It is.
It's kind of kept it hasn't expanded very far.
No, and it's maintained its charm, and then there's more and more business owners coming in, making it even better. More
but they're not
destination spot.
They're not changing the atmosphere of it.
No,
which
they're not.
is very appreciative. Because it always drives me nuts when people come in and then it's like. Here's this like old 1800s vibe, and then you got this very modern building, and you're like, wait a minute,
wait, that doesn't
it doesn't fit. Just keep it the way it was.
Yeah. So a little bit tidbit of gossip there for you too today. So yeah.
And then we have Still Magnolias starting on Thursday, April 14th, which is a play. And that it will be at the East Sonora Theater, and it starts at 6:30 and it's on the 14th and 15th and 2 p.m. on the 16th. And it is going to be, and they also have Wednesdays too.
Yeah.
So it's going to be going on for a while, and that's at the sierrarep.org. So if you're looking for a new play starting new.
Yeah.
It starts this Thursday.
Yeah.
So, which is always fun.
So Thursday, April 21st is what
April 14th.
14th, okay.
It starts, opening night is April 14th.
Okay.
So, right around the corner.
All right. And then going back to Easter, Columbia, again, does an amazing job as well. So they have actually a Victorian Easter
Which
celebration.
I was going to say, which is really cool.
Yeah,
it's really cool. And I love
their
that.
docents are awesome. And then they have, the Easter Bunny kind of looking a little like a miner. A little.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. And they have egg hunts and all sorts of cool stuff.
And that's on Sunday, Easter Sunday, right?
Easter Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And then if you want to plan ahead, Mother's Day is next month in April. And the Calaveras County Senior Center is doing a Mother's Day bouquet. And so that's on April 23rd and 24th. So you can kind of plan to get your spot then. Our spot, it's very far ahead, and we'll bring it up again.
Yeah.
But they have just a whole bunch of stuff. They have sculptures, quilters, embroidery, wreaths, jewelry. So you can even... you can find a really unique Mother's Day gift, and you can come and bring a friend. So if you're interested in that, that's at the Calaveras County Senior Center.
Yeah, April 23rd and 24th. And I don't know, you may have mentioned this, our favorite place, Amador Flower Farm, is having the Easter Bunny. Did I say that already?
No, we have not brought that one up yet.
Boy, the Easter Bunny's getting around. We're even getting confused about where he's going this year, or whatever, he or she, whatever he is, whatever. Anyway, so again, apparently she's a she because she hides her eggs here every year.
Oh, there we go.
Toddler to 13 years old.
Nice.
And so, and again, it's just a wonderful place to go with the family, and they have the tram running, and you can take a picnic, and it just is, and it's free admission, free parking.
Which is always great. Even if there's no event going, it's one of those places where you can just go.
Yeah.
Go and clear your mind and be just, I don't know, it's so beautiful there.
Yeah.
And then we have the Natives Voices showcasing Indigenous hip hop, and that is this Saturday on April 4th. Okay. And it is at the Columbia College, which it is, it's a series, and it's an emerging art form and style of storytelling and leading local, state, and nationally through the Native American performances. It's a free educational event.
Wow.
There are COVID restrictions will be followed, so just check in with that.
Yeah.
And it depends on how much space is taken up. So if you are curious about going to that, you can call them at 209-588-5065. And again, that was at the Columbia College.
And then also jumping into Spring Wine Weekend, which is April 23rd and 24th. This is a big event from the Calaveras Wine Grape Alliance. And it is in Murphy's, and actually it's pretty much, I think, all the wineries.
Ooh, that's cool because you can get everything at one spot.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So Saturday the 23rd to Sunday the 24th.
Nice.
And so make sure you save the date for that, and contact the CWA, which is calaveraswines.org, for tickets and for more information. Because it's like everything. You can buy a one-day ticket or two-day ticket, but a two-day ticket is good because you're probably going to have more places to go to after the one-day ticket.
Well, especially if they have wine tasting, and you like one wine, and then because eventually you do start losing your taste with sampling so much. So to have 2 days to kind of clean your palate out, and then to be fresh the next day, which is always a good idea.
Yeah, 27 participating tasting rooms and a weekend guide with maps.
Oh, that's cool.
This usually does sell out, so make sure you get on over there and get
plan
your
ahead.
Tickets. Yeah, for sure. And it is a fundraising event for the Calaveras Wine Grape Alliance, which supports not just the wine makers, but the grape growers in our area. Cool. Which is becoming, some people will say it has already become, but it is definitely well on its way to becoming one of the noted areas for wine production in California.
Which makes sense. I mean, there's so much good wine that comes out of here. And planning ahead, on Saturday, April 16th, they have a Shred Fest, which is document shredding and electronic recycling in Murphy's. So if you do have documents that you want shredded, plan ahead, box them up, and bring them to this event. It's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is at the Sutter Murphy's Rotary Club. It's anyone can go to it, and it's a drive-through black parking lot, and they will unload your vehicle. They recommend you place all items in the back of your vehicle for an easy unload. And they are always grateful for donations. And if you have any questions, you can always call them at 209-278-0455. And that's a really cool program because there's certain documents that you
just don't
can't
want
throw
around.
away.
Yeah, you just don't want to, because once it goes into the garbage, it becomes public.
Yes. And that's
So,
not
I
a
mean,
good thing.
it's one thing if you throw it at the dump, but if you have garbage service at your house, maybe you don't want it in your
Sitting there.
garbage can. Yeah, so, and kind of wrapping things up, there's actually a couple of really cool new businesses in Calaveras County.
Nice.
One of them is Posterity Cider Works.
Ooh, and I love cider. Like if I was going to have a drink, cider's my choice.
So they focus on making small batch cidery is what they say, small batch ciders from orchards that are local.
That's cool.
Heritage apples, pears, and quinces. And let me hop on over because I believe it is in McCollum Hill, and I have to verify my age. I am way over 21, so yeah. But yep, McCollum Hill. But I saw this and I wanted to share it with you all because it's kind of like Hinter House Distillery up there in the Arnold Corridor. There's wonderful places that are opening up now that are just great to go to. So make sure you check these guys out.
And it's nice because not everybody drinks wine. And it's nice to have that variety. And I mean, and then you do have people who drink both.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. But it is kind of nice to be like, okay, I can go to a brewery because we do have the brewery in Plymouth. Plymouth.
It's in Plymouth, yeah.
And then we have the cider in here.
And then
in
Tuolumne. McCollum Hill, Tuolumne.
And then we have the wine that's scattered throughout the Mother Lode.
Yes.
So it is really nice to have your spirits and
then there was the craft beer tour in Tuolumne County
yes.
too. So there's a map that you can do from
online
that.
or app. It's an app, right?
Yeah, and you check in and you kind of get cool
Which
stuff.
was really cool.
Really cool.
A couple episodes ago, we went over the website, and it was
like,
really fascinating to look at.
Yeah, and you can find that on the Tuolumne County Visitors Bureau website, so that's very cool. And then the other new business, they're just about to open, is my understanding. So you're here on the ground level.
Ooh.
Is the Gold Rush Tour Company.
Oh, that's
which
cool.
is here in Calaveras County. And they're opening it up and they're going to do wine tours, historic tours, and adventure tours.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, so their place of business where they are going to be starting their tours, I think, is actually in Angels Camp. But we'll tell you a little more about what they're doing as time goes on because it's just so cool.
Yeah, because even if you've lived here for generations, you don't know everything about it. And to be able to take a tour of, even if you're local, to take a tour of our area, you always end up with these unique stories that you had no idea.
Yeah, exactly. So.
And then speaking of Easter, we do have another Easter annual egg hunt in McCollum Hills, and it's put on by the Lions Club. It's April 16th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it is free, or it's for everybody. It's an Easter hunt and kids, and it's a free event. They hunt eggs, they win prizes, they have lunch, and all are welcome. So if you're in McCollum, you want to go to an Easter egg hunt, that's happening there.
Wow.
And then
so
talking about politics, so circle back around. If you are in Amador, they are coming up with the sheriff's election coming up soon.
Oh, yeah.
So they do have a town hall meet and greet with all three sheriff candidates,
and
all
this
in one
is a
spot.
Contested race too. So
if you want to go out and meet
the sheriff candidates and talk about
which is nice to kind of see, because otherwise you have to go to multiple events all over the place and get to meet them. This is all in one spot, which is on Wednesday, April 20th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Amador Senior Center. And so it's just one of those, I don't know, it's kind of different getting a chance to meet your
in person.
Yeah, in person, and to see if they are going to represent the community that you're hoping to move forward, which is always nice.
It is. You know, with those candidate events, they come out to meet you. I
Yes.
mean, and ask them the hard questions because they're okay with that.
No one else is going to unless you do. And it's one of those things, if you're not part of it, then you kind of wish you were later after the election, and
Especially
you wish
if
you would have had
something
those.
happens.
Yes, exactly. And you wish you would have had those questions answered ahead of time, and this gives you that opportunity with all three of them.
Yes,
And you can find
absolutely.
out all three of their answers, which is nice versus trying to be like, I'm going to ask this person on this day, this person on this day,
Yeah.
and then kind of like group it together.
Yeah.
You can get it all answered in one spot.
Yeah,
And again,
for
that's
sure.
on April 20th, so plan in ahead, and it's a Wednesday from 5 to 7.
Yeah.
So, and that's for Amador County.
Yes, we haven't heard anything about Calaveras or Tuolumne yet, but as soon as we do, we will let you know about those candidates events as well.
Yeah, because
So-
all of that is coming up.
Oh,
and
fast and furious, for sure.
So keep your ear open, and we will try to do our best to keep
keep
everyone
our
informed.
ear open too. So, but that's a lot.
It is a lot. It was a lot more than what I was expecting.
Exactly.
And looking like at what's coming up.
Yeah, when we do
Even
the
farther,
research, exactly, it doesn't look like a lot, and
it's
then we
just
start
getting
talking about
more
it.
and more busy.
Yeah, way
and
busy.
It's just absolutely, it's wonderful
It
seeing
is.
everything coming back and
Opening back
yeah,
up.
kind of
and-
becoming normal again in its own way.
Yeah, for
But
sure, for
it's-
sure.
I don't know. Feels good. It's
Yes.
it definitely feels like spring brought good tidings.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we'll end on that, spring
Yes.
and good tidings.
And if
Yes.
we did miss anything, please let us know. You can find us on social media, and then you can also email us and let us know of any events. And if you have an upcoming event, again, let us know because we don't want to miss out on it.
Absolutely, calpeg7@gmail.com, and you can find us on our social media platforms, Calaveras Community TV on Facebook, and we just got on TikTok. Whoop, whoop. So you can find us there too, Calaveras Community TV, and we love to hear from you, so
Yes.
don't be shy.
Perfect.
Yep. So,
Alrighty.
Alrighty, there we go.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye.